You may be in a space right now where you're feeling very dry, wondering, is God, does he even know what you're going through? I
Mm.
feel like the timing is absolutely perfect that you're hearing or seeing this video. My next guest is Joyce Crawford. We've spoken to her before about other books, but this one, we're going to be focusing on the book called The Royal Order of the Last Coin. I cannot say that fast, Joyce. The
I can't
Royal
either.
Order of the Last Coin. Would you share with us what that's about?
It's about my father's ancestors. Um, I always heard through my family oral history that we had Blackfoot, a Native American Indian in our lives,
Okay.
but I didn't know where it came from and nothing about it. So I went through Ancestry and
Mm.
I found the beginning of our ancestors in 14th century England.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
And so that was the beginning. And when Sir Walter died, well, before he died, he was given a coin by Edward the First when Walter was knighted.
Okay.
And this coin is the thread that goes through the series of books. And he gave this coin to his son, and basically that's what it is.
What does that represent? What does that coin represent?
His struggle with his loyalty to the crown and
Mm.
loyalty to God. Uh,
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
he did not understand or condone killing of innocent people just to enrich the crown.
Mm, mm.
But he also wanted to be loyal and faithful to God. And after all, God is the one who anoints the government.
Sure.
And so he has to be faithful to that.
Mm. I want to know more about your personal faith journey because these books are so rich with uh, the truth about Christ.
Ah,
I'd love to know what is the source of that.
well, first, thank you so much for saying that.
Mm.
The source, my source is my parents and
Oh,
grandparents.
wow.
Um, Daddy was uh, just a wonderful prayer warrior,
Okay.
deep and spiritual, but
Sure.
he didn't preach to you.
Okay.
But I
It was through
always
his actions, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yes. And he told me that you witness every day of your life
Mm.
just by the way you live.
Mm.
And so I remembered that.
What's your journey been like? Has it been, a generally easy journey or have you
Oh
had a lot of
no.
trials?
I grew up in a very loving and Christian home. And my mother was, she liked to be in control.
Mm.
And I didn't want to be controlled.
Mhm.
So I wanted to leave home, and I married a man that I thought would give me that freedom. He was not a very nice man.
Mhm.
Um, when I told him that we were going to have a baby, he immediately became uh, possessive and uh, jealous of his
Okay.
own son. So,
Wow.
31 years,
Wow.
it was hard.
Yeah.
And God, I finally figured out that God put me in this position so that I would learn to trust Him
Mm.
instead of trusting Daddy.
Sure. Sure.
So that's where my faith really grew.
It's easy to rely on people around us, and especially when we're on our when we're on our knees,
Yes,
to
yes,
just look for, you know, um, confirmation from
right.
anyone except God.
Yes, yeah.
So so
I have to remember that to keep my eyes on God
yes,
and listen because He's the one who directs my stories.
absolutely. You have so many amazing stories, and they're so different and unique, and you use a lot of symbolism. Where does that come from?
Um, I can't think of anything immediately.
Yeah.
Um,
It just comes to you.
yeah, it just comes to me, and
Yeah.
I have to believe that God directs that.
Yeah.
One of the symbolisms, you talk about that, the necklace I'm wearing today is mother of pearl.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. It's costume jewelry.
Mhm.
But in my second book, uh, Richard, who is Walter's great ninth grandson, uh, has been introduced or is being introduced to Etienne, an Indian maiden in colonial Virginia. And her brother, Natiam, brings traditional gifts for Richard to give to uh, Etienne. And one of them is an oyster shell.
Mm.
And the interior of the shell is mother of pearl.
Oh, beautiful.
I learned in my research and in the conversation back and forth between this Indian brave and this settler was that pearl, mother of pearl, symbolized love and worship.
So is it hard to go back and write about times so far gone?
Um, mm, uh, it,
How do you
it,
do that authentically?
I try very hard to be authentic,
Yeah.
and I do a lot of research online. Um, I just read online and try to assimilate the social happenings and atmosphere of that time.
Mhm.
And then, you know, we human beings are all the same. We all act the same. So I just have to put that into context.
Mm.
Um, for example, when Walter is talking with his son on the way home, he talks about God's gifts, the forest.
Mm.
Um, there's he saw a let me know if I'm going on too long.
No, this is wonderful.
He saw a bundle of black movement in the road, and Walter said, son, do you see that? What do you think it is? Well, it turned out to be two snakes fighting. And Walter said, which snake is going to win? And his son said, the strongest.
Oh my gosh.
And Walter said, well,
Ah.
that's a good guess. But actually, you don't have to be the strongest to win. You
Mm.
just have to, this snake has to know where his head is at all times. Because when they're in a knot, you
Wow.
can't tell who is whom.
Oh my gosh, that
Yeah.
is so profound. That's amazing. I love that. Um, Joyce, I'd love for you to share a little bit about your writing techniques because I think some of people look at these authors that are on our shows and they're like, "How can I do that?" Share just a little bit of wisdom about that.
Oh, wow. I'm doubting myself right now in my third book. Uh, I have an idea. I go online and I research the time and geography,
Mhm.
and I can look at a picture and then go back and write that picture in words.
Mhm.
I have
Wow.
to, yeah, I have to
Wow.
um, understand my characters
Mhm.
and make that character one with the story. I also use all five senses when I write so that
Mm.
my audience will be able to see and taste,
Mhm.
hear,
All
and
the textures, all the
all,
yeah.
yes, yeah. so that it's
Wow.
just not words on a page.
Sure.
I want them to be active with it. And I have to go back several times and flesh it out and
Sure.
edit it. So that's basically what it is.
Does the book write itself? Do you feel like God is guiding it, or do you have the complete plan before you sit down?
Oh no, God guides
Yeah.
in every direction. Right now, I'm waiting for guidance because I just don't know where it's going to go.
Yeah.
And I know that He
You mean as
will.
far as your next book, or?
Yes,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is book 3 in the series, and they are now in the Kentucky wilderness.
Okay, so it's the train, the warehouse, right?
This is the coin, the
And this is the third one to follow up of those, right?
of the coin.
Yes.
Yes, yeah,
The Royal Order of the Last Coin.
yes.
Before we end, because we're starting to wrap up the interview a little bit, I want to know, how do you find the appropriate scripture? I mean, that is a
Oh,
gigantic book of the Bible, and I know that you want to be very accurate, and it's got to tie in and make sense with the content of what you're saying. How do you do that?
I truly hope that I can do that. There's a wonderful site. It's the Gateway Bible Online,
Mhm, mhm.
and I search by the emotion, the struggle
Okay.
that I'm trying to write about, and then I have to just go through and read the scriptures and choose the one that will speak to my audience.
Okay. So you have a rhyme and rhythm. I mean, it's very important to make sure that it's the appropriate scripture,
Oh, yes.
speaking the appropriate way. So,
Yes, yes.
Joyce, it is always a pleasure to talk to you. I love the depth of love that you have for people. It just pours out like light in your
Oh,
books,
thank you,
and
Suzanne.
you just love people. So, well, tell me, where is the book available?
Amazon
Okay.
and Barnes and Nobles,
Okay.
and they can contact me at my website
Okay.
and buy them directly through me.
That sounds good. The Royal Order of the Last Coin, the third
Yes.
book of the series by Joyce Crawford.
So there's the Royal Order of the Last Coin,
Okay.
which is set in London, England, all the country of England,
Okay.
and then a grandson comes to Jamestown,
Okay.
and then the family goes to Kentucky.
Wonderful. We will definitely have to check those out as well. But this is The Royal Order of the Last Coin by Joyce Crawford. And we thank you so much, Joyce. Have a great day.
Thank you, Suzanne.